Thanks for joining us on Africa 24 for another edition of the Senegalese presidential election campaign newscast. After the mobilization in the north of Senegal in support of the candidate of the Benno Bokk Yakaar coalition, on Friday 15 March 2024, Fouta rolled out the red carpet. In Aïrelau, in the department of Podor, Amadou Ba called for unity among the leaders of his party and his coalition. He promised to fight against youth unemployment in Matam. Cheikh Oumar Kamara reports.
According to Agence nationale de la statistique et de la démographie, Senegal's unemployment rate rose to 19.5% in the third quarter of 2023 and is slightly higher in rural areas, where 17.1% of the active population is unemployed. At the same time, Amadou Ba, candidate in the March 24th presidential election, has identified youth employment as one of his top priorities, particularly in the Matam department in the north of the country. To this end, he has put forward concrete proposals aimed at stimulating the local economy and creating job opportunities for Senegal's youth.
I define myself as the President of the Republic of Youth Employment because youth is not the future, it's Senegal's present. I want the youth employment policy to be evaluated after 5 years. All young people in Senegal have a right to dignity.
In Podor department, Amadou Ba is pursuing his electoral caravan with determination. He made a vibrant appeal for unity within his coalition, stressing the importance of solidarity in achieving his objectives.
We are going to be together and very strong, comrades. No egos, comrades, but all Republicans, because the moment to unite is essential. The moment to preserve the Republic, the moment to preserve our institutions. That moment has arrived.
The candidate of the presidential election majority aims to pursue the implementation of the project initiated by the state as part of the Plan Senegal Emergent, particularly in the field of employment. This is a major challenge in a country where half the population is under 19 years of age. According to the ANSD statistics, in the third quarter of 2023, the unemployment rate stood at 22.9% compared with 19.5% for the same period in 2022.
Aliou Mamadou Dia is the candidate of the Pure Political Party in the Senegalese presidential election of 2024, an international civil servant. The representative of the United Nations Development Programme in Cameroon is not widely known by the general public or the political scene. His ambition is to build a new and prosperous Senegal through his program called Nité and Natangué. Pauline Minka painted his profile.
Aliou Mamadou Dia, age 64, is a candidate of the party L'Unité et du Rassemblement in the presidential election of March 24, 2024. With almost 18 years experience and practice in the field of sustainable development in Africa with the UNDP and other United Nations bodies, the man, who described himself as a man of development, said he wants to put his experience and expertise at the service of his fellow citizens.
I am not here to try, I'm not here to endeavor, I'm here to do. My hands are clean. Senegal needs a new leadership, a new team, a new person with all the probity that really has, who comes with humility. I have come to serve.
Dia holds a doctorate from the Department of Geography at the Cheikh Anta Diop University in Dakar and intends to develop Senegal, a prosperous Senegal built on equity, transparency, righteousness, unity, and respect for human dignity. In the program, this involves giving all Senegalese access to social services, putting an end to social injustices, and reconciling Senegalese. For young people, he will set up the Higher Council of Youth at last to include them in the decision-making.
You will contribute to the construction and development of our beloved Senegal. 70% of our young people are under 35, and I will give them their due. We will set up the Higher Council of Youth, and you will be among the decision makers when we come to power.
Having come forth in the 2019 presidential election, the PUR party, through Aliou Mamadou Dia, is now determined to make its voice heard so that the country can prosper once elected.
Candidate in the presidential election of March 24, Aly Ngouille Ndiaye has condemned the current situation in the fisheries sector and the poor working conditions of those involved. At the start of his mandate, the candidate of the Aly Ngouille 2024 coalition made a commitment to provide Senegal not just with infrastructures, but also with cold stores to preserve fish in the event of surplus catches. Samantha Saberu Sabubanga.
Aly Ngouille Ndiaye, a candidate in the March 24 presidential election, is defending a program entitled Senegal as a Priority. A polytechnician, Aly Ngouille Ndiaye was born on August 16, 1964 in Lingere, in the Louga region, and has held a number of important ministerial portfolios over the past 12 years, working alongside outgoing President Macky Sall.
I am a candidate because I love my country, Senegal. I love its diversity, its territory, and its social model. I want us to talk again about decent living conditions for all, restored ecosystems, and the dignity of men and women in respect of our cardinal values, ethics, morals, and beliefs.
In a country where food security remains a major concern, Aly Ngouille Ndiaye proposes a holistic approach to guarantee access to adequate food for all Senegalese citizens. According to the candidate, despite the various agricultural programs in place, Senegal remains dependent on foreign countries for a large part of its basic food needs. Aly Ngouille Ndiaye put forward several initiatives to strengthen food security.
My commitment has always been to move in the direction of progress and the takeoff of our country. In order to achieve these quantitative objectives, we must begin by changing ourselves and breaking certain unfortunate habits, such as mismanagement, bad governance, corruption, arrogance, nepotism, but also idleness, indiscipline, and disrespect for the symbols of the Republic.
With his reputation for rigor and competence, the candidate of the Aly Ngouille 2024 coalition has devoted a special chapter in his program to migration, a scourge known for the damage it causes to Senegal's youth. In this area, Aly Ngouille Ndiaye envisages a global approach focused on facilitating safe and regular immigration while combating the root causes of irregular migration. He also envisages judicial reforms to improve access to justice and reduce procedural delays, as well as measures to protect the environment and combat climate change.
To help countries meet the multiple challenges they face, the International Development Association has disbursed $300 million to support the public policy reforms in Senegal in 2023. These reforms are aimed at increasing access to healthcare, sustainable energy, social protection, and economic opportunities for the population in a sustainable and equitable manner. Amen Eji gives more details in this report.
One of Africa's major challenges remains the question of food self-sufficiency. Senegal, like other countries, has always demonstrated a commitment to Africa's common development objectives. Supported by the International Development Association IDA 20, the Senegalese government has set priorities to these objectives.
These priorities include the creation of jobs for young people, as well as the creation of income-generating activities, mainly for young people and women, investment in education and qualifying training, since we've understood that we need to change the paradigm of education in Africa.
With a focus on the optimal use of the resources devoted to it, IDA, aware of the pre-existing economic development challenges, has invested around $300 million in Senegal in 2023 in the form of credit. Although these funds are intended to support budgetary resources in financing anti-crisis measures to stimulate sustainable and inclusive growth, there remain growing expectations.
We want IDA 20 to help support the structural transformation of our economies, and this through the implementation of projects and programs in support of a sustainable and inclusive recovery. Africa needs roads, sanitation, power plants, and railroads. If we don't solve it, we won't go far.
As a reminder, the summit devoted to the launch of IDA 20 in Dakar in 2022 was held against a backdrop of deep crisis, marked by the dual impact of the COVID-19 pandemic and the war in Ukraine. Countries should therefore continue to strengthen their capacity to respond to this crisis, without forgetting the exploitation of resources for a fair and equitable energy transition.
And here ends this edition of the Senegalese presidential election campaign newscast. Stay tuned for more programs on Africa 24.